Hi, fourth grade. Welcome back to your math lessons. Today, we're going to be shifting gears from what we've been previously talking about with measurement systems, and now we're going to be applying those different measurements to find perimeter. So today's focus lesson is all about perimeter. This is coming from page 600 in your textbook. Please get your journals out and labeled with 23.4 Find Perimeter, and turn in your textbooks to page 600. You have two definitions to write down today. If you'd like to write while I'm talking, that is okay, or if you'd rather pause the video, you can do that too. The first definition that we'll be working with today is the definition for formula. A formula is a mathematical rule. These are often written as equations. But there's variables that are unknown, so you'll see letters in these formulas, and the letters stand for different things. For example, P equals A plus B plus C. So right now that just looks like letters being put together, but this is a formula and those letters stand for different things and actually represent numbers. The next definition that I'd like you to write down is the definition for perimeter. That's our focus for today. The perimeter is the total measure of the outside lines of a closed figure. So for example, a square, a circle, a triangle, the perimeter would measure the total distance of all the sides put together. So side 1, side 2, side 3, side 4. That the perimeter is found when you add all of those distances together. The formula for perimeter is P equals the sum of all side lengths. So depending on how many sides you would have would depend on how many numbers are being added together. So for example, this first perimeter formula that I drew out for you would be the formula for a triangle, because a triangle has 3 sides and I have 3 letters being added together. We're going to talk about a couple different ways to find the perimeter of different figures. The most important thing that you need to know is you just need to add together all of the sides of the figures. So the most basic way to do that is just to write all of them out with addition signs in between each one and then add them together. You may use a calculator to do this, so we're not going to waste a lot of time today adding by hand. If you don't have a calculator, you will have to find the sums by hand. So this is an example coming from your textbook. Figure A here has many different sides, and those sides can all be added together. Think of each side as being a different letter. So we have side A, side B, C, D, and E. And so the formula would look like this. P equals A plus B plus C plus D plus E. And then you actually plug in the numbers to start solving it. So side A was 20 centimeters, so that's why you see a 20 here. Side B is 17, so that's why there's the 17. C is 12. D is 15. And E is 18. So then when you add those all together, we get a total of 82. So figure A's perimeter is 82 centimeters. It's very important to make sure you recognize what unit you are working with so that you can add that on as a label when you finish the problem. Now, rectangles and squares have special formulas for the perimeter. It all means the same thing, just adding together all of the outside of the figure, all of the outside side lengths. However, squares and rectangles have another special way for the formula. So we're going to write this down together. So for a rectangle, the formula that you can use is P equals 2 times whatever the length of the rectangle is plus 2 times whatever the width of the rectangle is. This will be important for you to know and understand, because sometimes a rectangle will only give you the measurement of one of the widths and one of the lengths, but not both. And so you'll have to multiply the length times 2 and the width times 2 and then add those together. So I'll show you that in a minute, but you need to have that written down. And then a square has its own special formula as well. A square has all sides that are the same length. So if they tell you one side of the figure, you can know all the sides because they're all the same length. So the perimeter of a square is all of those sides added together, or a more simple way to do it is multiply the side lengths times 4. So 4 times s, because all of the side lengths are the same for squares. All right, let's put these to practice and start working on perimeter. So again, perimeter is just the sum of all of the sides put together. So for number 1, to add the lengths of sides to figure out what the perimeter is of this figure, we're going to write P equals, and then we're going to add all of those sides together. So I'm going to start right here with the 14 feet plus 25 feet plus 13 feet plus 13 feet plus 25 feet. Now I'm going to add these all up in my calculator. 14 plus 25 plus 13 plus 13 plus 25 equals 90. Now I need a label. My label that I used in the problem was the measurement was in feet, so my label also needs to be in feet. And that's it. Easy peasy. We're going to continue working on finding the perimeter of these figures. Number 2, the perimeter is going to equal all the sides added together. So I'm going to start adding. I have 18 inches plus 23 inches plus another 18 inches. Again, I can use my calculator, so I'll type that in. 18 plus 23 plus 18 equals a total of 59, and then I need to remember my label. The measurement was in inches, so my label also needs to be in inches. Number 3. The perimeter for this figure is going to be all of the side lengths added together to see the total sum. Starting with 14 centimeters plus 15 centimeters plus 16 centimeters plus 20 centimeters. Taking out my calculator, and I'll add those together. 14 plus 15 plus 16 plus 20 equals 65. And my label for those measurements was in centimeters. So my perimeter needs to also have a label of centimeters. Now, one thing I just want to mention to you, you aren't going to come up against this in 4th grade, but you might in upper grades, is that sometimes a problem might try to trick you and have the side lengths in different units of measurement. In order to add units of measurement together, they all need to be the same unit. So all centimeters, all inches, all meters. So just be aware as you get older and the math classes get more challenging, that might be something that you're facing where you have to do a conversion before you're able to add them together to find the perimeter. All right, number 4 is a great example of why we wrote down the formula for a rectangle. For the perimeter is all the side lengths put together. However, in this rectangle, it does not tell me what the other 2 sides are. I have this side, it doesn't tell me, and this side, it doesn't tell me. However, because it's a rectangle, I know that whatever the width is on one side, it's the same width on the other side. And the same thing with the length. Whatever the length on one side, it's going to be the same on the other side. So there's 2 ways we could solve this problem. We could either make that assumption that we know rectangles, the length is going to be the same on both sides and the width will also be the same on both sides. So then I could add it together like this. 110 plus 110 plus 42 plus 42. That's one way I could do it. The other way I could do it is by using my formula, which was 2 times the length, which is 42, plus 2 times the width, which is 110, will equal the perimeter. No matter which way I solve this, my answer is going to be the same. Let me show you first with the special formula. So in my calculator, how I'm going to solve this is I'm going to type first 2 times 42. That equals 84. I'm going to next multiply 2 times 110. The order of operations tells me I need to solve what's in parentheses first. So I'll do that. So 2 times 110 is 220. Then I can add those together, 84 plus 220. And I find that the perimeter is equal to 304. And I need to write in that label meters. Now, if I were to solve this problem using my original formula, where I just added up all the sides, I would find the same answer. So in my calculator, I'm going to type 110 plus 110 plus 42 plus 42, and I also get an answer of P equals 304 meters. So either way is okay. Whatever you are most comfortable with is fine. Let's solve a few more. We're going to skip number 6 and 7. We're going to jump straight to number 8 because that one is more complicated. So I want you to notice here this little divot. So this has elongated the side lengths to make it all the way around this figure because we have it coming in and down. Now, this is such a complicated turn that they couldn't even fit both side lengths there. They had to include the 8 yards on the other side. So it's very important when you're looking at special figures that you add up every single side. Make sure you have a measurement for every side length before you determine what the official perimeter is. So because this is a more complicated figure, I'm going to start with the most complicated side first, which is that side I circled. So I'm going to add together 8 yards and 12 yards, and then I'll continue on. I like to circle once I've written it down in my formula so that I know that I have covered all of the sides. So that might be a good practice for you as well. Now I'm adding 15 yards plus 48 yards plus 24 yards and finally plus 36 yards. So now I'm going to use my calculator and add those all together. 8 plus 12 plus 15 plus 48 plus 24 plus 36. And I get a total of P equals 143, and my label is yards. When you are solving these on your own, I would like you to make sure that you write down the formula. This is going to make sure that you have solved every side length possible so that you get an accurate perimeter. You don't want to leave off any side length. So please make sure that you take the time to write down the addition problem so you know that you're entering it into your calculator correctly. If you find that you're getting the wrong answer, it might be because you typed it in your calculator incorrectly. So be on the lookout for that. Oh, I do want to come back and solve number 7. So let's do that. It's a square, so that's another one of our special formulas. So still the perimeter is all side lengths are the same. Adding them all together. For a square, though, our formula is special. It's 4 times one side length, or I could just add together side length, side length, side length, side length. This would actually save us some time, so we're not having to type all those in. So the side lengths of a square are all equal. So this formula could either be 26 plus 26 plus 26 plus 26, or I could just do 4 times one of the side lengths, 26, and that will give me the same answer. 4 times 26, I'll type that into my calculator, equals 104. So the perimeter for this square is 104 inches. Also, I'll show you, I could write that out, adding together all the side lengths. I know that the opposite side of the square is going to be the same. All the side lengths are the same. So that's how I get that, and that will also equal 104 inches. solving a few more special types of problems. We're going to skip, oh no, we will do number 9 because I have decimal points. So I want to make sure we go over that. So let's take a look at number 9. Number 9, don't let the decimal point scare you. This process is still the same. Perimeter is adding together all the side lengths. So we're going to continue to write those all down. We have 20.2 centimeters. Make sure you add that decimal point in. Plus 10. Again, I'm going around and I'm circling each side length after I write it down in my formula. Now I'm going to add those all together in my calculator. I have 20.2 plus 10 plus 12.3 plus 13, and I get a total perimeter is 55.5 or 55 and 5/10. We'll skip number 10 here. We'll go jump over to number 11. So this one is looking like it's a little more complicated. We'll want to make sure that we deal with the complicated part first. So I'm going to circle that so that we deal with that first. Our process does not change no matter how many side lengths there are. We just add them all together to find the perimeter, which is the distance all the way around the outside of a closed figure. So we have in this little nook here, this line is 14 meters. So I know that for sure. I'll write that first. We have 14 meters. Then I see this is so tiny they weren't able to fit it all, but this side is 10 and this side is also 10. So I need to add in 2 10s, 10 plus another 10. Now I can go around the rest of the figure and continue adding the sides. I have 14 and 21 and 42 and another 21 and another 14. Wow, lots of numbers for that one. So I'm going to want to make sure that I'm checking for accuracy as I type this in my calculator. I have 14 plus 10 plus 10 plus 14 plus 21 plus 42 plus 21 and plus 14. Now I have the perimeter equals 146. Now because that was so long, I'm going to double check my math one more time on my calculator to make sure that I got that right. So I'm double checking 14 plus 10 plus 10 plus 14 plus 21 plus 42 plus 21 plus 14. And yes, I ended up again with 146. So I checked myself. I did it correctly. All right, this next set of directions says use a formula to find the perimeter. These are our special situations where we have squares and rectangles that have a special formula. So we're going to go ahead and solve just 2 of these. We'll solve 12 and 13. So for a square, the special formula is P equals 4 times S. S stands for the side length. So P equals 4 times 116. We just write in one side length for that formula. And then I can solve that in my calculator. When I do 4 times 116, I get 464 feet. Number 13, the perimeter of a rectangle is different. The formula is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Now I'm going to fill in the L and W. I have the length is 33 decimeters, so 2 times 33. And then I have the width is 11, which is 2 times 11 for the width. Order of operations tells me to solve what's inside parentheses first. So first I'll do 2 times 33, which equals 66. And then I need to do 2 times 11, which is 22. Then I can add those together and I get a total of 88 decimeters. All right, so that was it for our lesson today. This is by far the most simple lesson of the chapter, so I hope you enjoy the little bit of the mental break today that you're getting. You'll be working today on 23.4 PW. For today's lesson, you are going to be solving all of it. And I want you to make sure that when you look at the rectangles and squares that you are using the correct formula. If you're more comfortable just adding together all of the sides, that is okay, but just be aware, it looks like just on number 8 that you have 2 missing side lengths. So make sure you remember what to do with that, and have this open after you are done with your work so you can check your answers, but please don't look at it while you're doing your work so that you actually are getting practice. So thanks so much for all your hard work. I'm proud of you guys.